Hello and welcome to this session entitled Building a Dashboard. In this session, we're going to actually build our dashboard hands-on. We're going to talk about requirements and specifications, because just like reports, whenever we're designing a dashboard or report, we want to make sure that it represents something that adds value to the business. And so we always want to make sure what our requirements and our specifications are. Next, we're going to be talking about the grid layout within the dashboard designer, customizing our components, the different chart options that are available to us, conditional highlighting of our dashboards, and then how to group our data. When do I use the dashboard? Well, for instance, you're a manager who would like to kick off an overview presentation at a quarterly meeting, then a dashboard would definitely be the best way to track and display your team's success. When we want to see our business data in a visually compelling, interactive, and actionable way, there's nothing more exciting and valuable and would show our data better than a dashboard. So let's get to it. We'll click on Dashboards, tab, click on New Dashboard. This is where we'll be prompted for the name, the description, and the folder where we'd like to save it, so that way we can share it with our other team members. Okay, let's proceed to creating the report or the dashboard. Within the dashboard designer, the first thing we see is the grid layout. And within the grid layout is where we can place our components where they would have the most impact. So let's go ahead and add a component. For our source, we'll simply select a report that has the data that we'd like to visualize in our dashboard. Each component draws the data from a single report. And of course, we can use different reports for different components. Next, we get to customize our components that are going to be on our dashboard. And what else to start with would be better than a headline of key matrix to set the stage for the rest of the story. Let's go back to our components options. And notice as we change the setting on the left, how the preview of our data for the dashboard or the component changes as we're previewing it. Lucky for us to design a fancy dashboard, there's a lot of options that we could select from. This includes the measure of the report and how to display the units that we have. Display units. And of course, we also have ranges and display colors. After we've selected, then all we have to do is just add that component to our dashboard. To reposition, all we have to do is drag that component within the grid of our dashboard designer. Similarly, to resize each of our components, all we have to do is just drag it. And for any report that has at least one grouping, we could add a chart component. This time around, we're going to use the funnel chart, and we're going to change the display units. And to make it more exciting and granular, let's go ahead and color by created month And even to refine it further and have more detail, let's go ahead and show percentages. After discussing the variables to this component that we've added, we might want to go in to add or edit opportunities, for instance. So all we have to do is simply add our custom link in there. Then we add it. Let's go ahead and save it. Haven't saved my dashboard. I can open it. And if I added a link, I would have the option from within the properties to go straight to that link. Just as in case of a report, sometimes we'd like to look at a tabular format, something like a table. So in that case, we can go in, select and choose a table format, and then go in and add the columns that we're looking for, or remove the columns that we'd not like to display in the detail. And of course, it's a nice feature that we could sort, ascending, descending, and we could also add conditional highlighting if we're looking for certain ranges, as in this case, and show the preference of the ranges they would like to use. Now let's add it, and of course by default, tables show record level information. Sometimes we'd like to do some computations, such as sum and averages. In that case, we'd need to put something in the group by column. And now we can choose the measure. So far, we've looked at individual components within our reports or our dashboards. But now there are other things, customization and settings, that affect the entire dashboard, and that's what we're going to be looking at now. And for those customizations, we look at Edit Dashboard Properties. So for example, we could have, even though it's the same dashboard, but we could have the user see exactly the data that I see, or as another person, or as a dashboard viewer. We can also set the color theme or the palette for the entire dashboard. Palette settings are only available within the dashboard level. And just like reports, a lot of times we'd like to filter our dashboard, in which we'll press or click on our filter option. And as such, we can create a filter or a parameter to our dashboard. And with that, we conclude creating dashboards on Salesforce.